Alright, folks, and welcome back to the Boys Green YouTube channel. It's time to look ahead to the weekend's game against Ross County. We'll also look back on the midweek action against Brugge because we never done a preview or a match reaction. Alistair, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Josh.
Aye, good. Well, we may as well start with obviously reviewing the Club Brugge game.
Do we have to?
Alistair, the question, I thought, was it that bad?
The
The
first half,
question.
just
Aye,
skip by the first half, please. I'm still getting flashbacks.
the question I'm going to ask you, is it a point gained or is it 2 points dropped?
because of how bad the first half was, the entire game was. Let's be honest. I'd say a point gain because we could have easily lost that easily.
Aye. I know, I do agree. Obviously, when you're at the ground, it's kind of like you're like, oh, because as you stated there, that first half performance was so far off it. What we've kind of come to expect in the Champions League this year for Celtic, and it was kind of capped off with probably the worst goal that I've ever seen conceded at Celtic Park. In all honesty,
I know you said at Celtic Park because I can think of one in particular that I can remember. And then, funny enough, we
um,
had to read on that.
and
But yeah,
I,
Celtic Park, I would say so, yeah.
and it's probably the one player that you don't expect to do something like that. And Cameron Carter Vickers, I've got absolutely no critics for him, to be honest, because he's made two errors, which I think notable errors that have came in Europe. That one and then the one against
What,
Lazio.
so, one had
So
just come on, if I remember.
aye, so it's a freak kind of own goal, but to be honest, with the way the first half was going, you kind of expected something like that to happen because, as you said, Alistair, we were nowhere near where we should have been in that first half.
Yeah, and honestly, Josh, and I'm saying this to friends, family, and stuff, I think we would have lost that last year,
Aye,
undoubtedly. We would have, we would have been 2 or 3 down last year. At least the positive I'm taking with it, Josh, is we found a way to stop the hemorrhaging goals in this
aye.
campaign. Normally, when we lose one goal, it's followed by 2 and 3.
2-3.
We've
And see,
kind
to
of
be honest, with you, in that first half, we probably could have been looking at 2-0, barring a fantastic save for Casper Schmeichel. The second half, Alistair, we were a lot better. I don't even know if a lot, we were slightly better. I thought we
a
upped it a
lot.
bit.
I think we were more in the face, and that kind of helped us.
Aye,
Whether we were better or not, we still weren't crisp, crisp, and we're passing and stuff.
aye.
I think I think it was just flat because see when you start as badly as we started, it's kind of hard to pick it up. And I did say to you, having watched Bruges in other games, they are hard to beat when they get in front, and that's how I was kind of worried. When we
Aye,
went a goal down, I was really worried, but we were next to each other, and I just felt we blew this. But we managed to retrieve it, and
aye.
a point gained.
I think that's probably the best way to look at it. I think it's a point gained, obviously. We're now, I think 8 points we're on now. So,
And we've got a 4 point cushion in 25th.
um, you're looking at another 3 points. We'll get is probably where we want to be. But the only thing that makes me a bit uncomfortable is you're now. I know we've got Zagreb, and we could go and get a result against Zagreb in the next game.
I'd
But
personally take a point with that. But
Villa, I'm kind of just putting out the equation, to be honest. So you're kind of looking at young boys and go, right. we need to win, which there's something
We
about
did
Leicester.
anyway. We did anyway. We always needed to win, young boys.
Aye, no, definitely.
Nothing to
Um,
say.
but I think getting into the weekend, Alistair, obviously, it's European. We'll come back to league games. A lot was discussed. I heard in the press conference about obviously shifting. I think Adam Ida spoke about how it's important you shift from the glitz and glamours of the Champions League to a league game on a Saturday 3 o'clock against Ross County. And that's no disrespect to Ross County, but there is that. I think there's that psychological thing, and after with these games, I just think it's all about getting the
Just
result
won
again.
them.
And aye,
Just won them, get that out the road.
aye,
Honestly, Josh, it's a cliche. What I'm going to say is it's a cliche, but you don't win these games, you don't get into the Champions League the following year. Uh, have a chance of getting in the Champions League the following year. So you need to pay them respect. Just try and put as many points on the board as possible. And I'd like a performance though, because it's been kind of flat over the last 3 weeks.
aye. Talking about the press conferences, one of the big subjects, and I do want to speak about this, is the criticism of Mr. Arnie Engels. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say Arnie Engels was absolutely sparkling on Wednesday night, because he wasn't,
Nobody
right?
was.
And I don't think he's been sparkling the last few games. But I do think that Arnie Engels is now becoming a bit of a scapegoat now. I think that he's a young player who is still trying to settle in. He is a Belgium international, and I do not. People need to stop, and I know it's difficult. People need to stop thinking about this price tag and all this stuff about how it's he's a record signing, and I've not seen anything. And I will stand by it, and I will say that Arne Engels' time will come. He You don't make 30 appearances in the Bundesliga for nothing. He don't start for Belgium for nothing. Now I know Belgium aren't Belgium of old, but it's just the criticism's just getting wild now. After I think you know
Well,
you think people would
I'll,
learn. You think people would learn because we've seen it when Nicholas Cooney was writ off last season. We've seen it with even players like Mattarelli. He's no scoring enough. What happened there? We've seen it with players. We've seen it with Paulo Bernardo as Rodgers.
look
You
at
know,
last Christmas. I
aye,
mean, who would have bought Paulo Bernardo last Christmas until he had that spell against the goal against Rangers, the goal against Munn, and I think he scored 4 in a row.
aye.
And then everybody's saying buy him, buy him. So
Because
just have a bit of patience and trust the process. I mean, and that's fascination. £11 million, well, it's a Celtic record. It doesn't get you very much.
it's not going to get the thing. It won't get you is a player that's already at its full potential.
It's
If you
not
want
going
a
to get you
midfield,
established,
if you
finished article player.
if you want a young player that's at the top of his game, you need a Lamine Yamal about 80, 90, £100 million. Is Arne Engels £11 million, but we are paying for potential, and I knew this. We all knew this from the start.
And let's
But
be honest, it'd be the same if we sign Lennon Muller. Lennon Muller's only potential.
aye, and I'm like, just give him time, and I do feel from a bit because it's just you know I Hatate was poor all night. Cal McGregor was poor all night.
The
The
whole
whole
midfield was
midfield
off.
was shocking. So I'm not sitting here saying that Arne Engels, oh, he done nothing wrong and he's been brilliant. He's not. But I'm also going to sit here and be patient with him because at the end of the day, he's just turned 21.
And he's
You
our
need
player.
He's not had a pre-season. He has not. he's not been ways that long, and that takes time. Do I think he needs a spell at the team? Yes, I think Bernardo has earned a shot at this in the starting 11. But like this notion that he's a waste of money, and at the end of the day, Arne Engels does not decide the price tag of that's the club's. He's a young player who we've got a manager who's brilliant with young players who I fully trust to manage to mould him into a player, and we'll see the best of him. I honestly think we'll be coming back here in 6, 7 months' time, and when we're starting to see the best of Alan Engels, I can say this and I fully stand by it. Come back here in 6, 7 months' time, and we'll start to see the best Alan Engels. Trust me.
I'll finish on the Engels thing with this. It's kind of unlucky that this is the first year in God knows how long that we're going to have no winter break, so you can't work on them. And you think about it, we're playing game after game, and if anything, Brendan Rodgers is guilty of not rotating the team enough, especially in midfield.
I think the Japanese, but I think we're going to need to start looking at, because I do think when they come back from Japan duty, they're fucked. I think,
Yeah.
and I do think we're going to need to maybe rotate players like Tate. I know you're sitting saying that Maida can't, we can't drop Maida, but I know Maida's like a freak of nature and could run all day.
Is probably the one Japanese player that could do it because of the engine he's got. I mean,
I know, but I still think you need to rotate him because, and
he's a hamstring to go.
I still think you need to kind of rotate him. Personally, Alistair, before we go into starting up, I want to talk about obviously the news that it seems that Alex Valle will be staying at the club. Obviously, there was a lot said, a few weeks back, rumours going about that he was going back to Barcelona. And then when you see Greg Taylor, playing, and I'm not having a go at Greg Taylor here, but he's not putting in the best of performances.
You'll leave that to me.
And you see Alex Valle,
on 30
not
seconds.
playing. You're thinking the only reason he's not playing here is because he's off, but it seems to me that he will be staying towards the end of the season. So for me, Alistair, we need to start seeing a run of games with Valle in the team.
Josh, I wouldn't be surprised if Alex Valle is now the first choice left back. I thought it was telling that Rodgers, let's be honest, he hooked Greg Taylor because of how bad he was.
Aye.
Because there was nothing coming down that left. I'll be honest, and this isn't like you, it's not having a pop at Greg Taylor, it's just stating a fact. If Alex Valle doesn't come on and make that run,
Oh, he does.
Scoring.
And I'm not having a go as well here because it's not having a go at Greg Taylor. I understand that Greg Taylor has gave Celtic a decent service. You might dislike him, you might not, but you can't deny he's gave Celtic a good service. He's been here for 5 years. Greg Taylor's been
the
2020, 1920 season. Aye. So you're talking about 5 years he's been here. He's gave us a good service. You might, if you dislike him, not. I don't think you can disagree with that. It was pivotal to under Ange with that inverted role. He seems to be decent in the dressing room, whatever else, but
he's not getting a legs to be a Rodgers type.
That, and he's not signing a contract, which is totally up to him. I think Rodgers is getting a bit pissed, I think, to be honest, because if you contrast how Rodgers spoke about it near the start, and he was like, "Oh no, I'd love Greg to sign," and
but
he was
also did say there's become a cut-off point.
Aye, but then last week, if you listen to his press conference, he was asked about Greg Taylor, and he says there's been no further progress and just fit off the matter. that seemed to me that Brendan Rodgers isn't very happy. I don't think, or Brendan Rodgers knows that Greg Taylor is not signing a new contract. I think it is the latter.
I
So
personally think we all need. This can't drag on to the end of the season. What I personally would do, I'd go to Barcelona and I'd sign by because if that's the model,
I think we could sign him. I just think it's up to whatever what he
Alex
wants to
will
do.
come. Alex, just for
I think it's up to whatever he kind of wants to do. I think maybe he might see himself as really like wanting to go back to Spain. I don't know. It's really up to. I hope he would stay at Celtic because I think he's um,
well, I'd be
shown the
asking
quality.
the question.
Oh no, definitely. I think you asked the question. One more player I want to go on because there was a few standouts on Wednesday night. The other player I want to talk about is Austin Trusty. Alistair, he is looking more and more the centre half we hoped would be getting to go alongside Vickers because I
Yeah,
thought he was outstanding again on Wednesday night. Held us together at points.
yeah,
I thought he
definitely
was outstanding.
he did, and I just, I just like the look of Trusty. I mean, I don't want to go and say he's this, that, and the other, but he's got all the qualities I look for. He's quick, he's good in the tackle, he's good in the air, and I think that has been money well spent.
Aye.
Well, well spent.
No, I think he's been fantastic, and he's another one. People writing him off after struggling against
After
Falkirk.
Dortmund, yeah,
Dortmund, Falkirk. He had an absolutely horrendous run of games to come into. Then he went to and I said, and I think a lot of it said, a lot of it were quite level. Just give him time,
yeah.
and then he went to Atalanta, putting in a brilliant performance with
That's
skill.
one. That's probably the best European performance I've seen since John Kennedy in the new camp against
Aye.
Ronaldinho, to be fair.
And the
And
good thing is,
Bellew,
he seems to have struck a partnership with Scales as well. So like it's not just kind of with Vickers. He's kind of been, he's played games with Scales. Obviously, it was him and Scales in Bergamo. Last night and against Leipzig was outstanding. Hearts at the weekend, I thought he strolled it. Um, Kilmarnock, it's looking very easy for him, I think. And these kind of high where you think, right, you're going to be tested here. And he was tested against Leipzig. He was tested against, Atalanta. He was tested at Hearts and things like that. So he looks to build into a player that we were hoping we got, and seems to be getting that.
yeah. But again, as you say, when we signed them, the attitude from a lot of the fan base was, why are we signing a boy for Sheffield United?
Aye,
Which I
which
can't, I can't go with
mhm.
that, that thinking because one guy doesn't make a team get relegated.
Well, I said it at the time. I said it was Arsenal seen something in him. So I know he didn't play much for Arsenal, but um, as you said, I don't think you can blame a team's failings on one individual. Um, just like Wednesday night, I don't blame CCV for us failing to win on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
So
Can I
as
just say before we move on, Josh, I wanted to bring this up if we done a review. Well done to Casper Schmeichel for
aye,
grabbing the bull by the horns after the goal and grabbing them all and then saying, "What right, let's go here." I don't think he's got the credit for that.
no, it was a good bit of leadership. I think when after the half that we had, and then the end of that, I think you just need to bring in say, right, come on, fuck here, what's going on? That's probably what was said, to be honest.
Yeah,
Wait, what? Come on, what's going on here? But but I think it was good, obviously good to see, and something that I'm glad. that we're seeing. As for the opposition, Ross County sit in 8th on 15 points. Alistair, obviously, we played them earlier on in the season. We won 2-1 up at
Yeah.
Dingwall. We came from behind. Goals from Johnston and Nicholas Kuhn. Alistair, what sort of game are you expecting against Ross County? Obviously, this time at Celtic
Um,
Park.
Again, Josh, it comes down to attitude. Ross County's away record, well, their home record's brilliant. For a team like Ross County, their home record's very good. Their away record, on the other hand, the only way I could describe it is Celtic's away record in Europe. So
Aye.
I'm hoping that we can put some a lot of goals past them. No disrespect, but I think the club and I think we need to see a performance. I alluded to it earlier
Uh-huh.
by saying I want to see a performance because
Mm-hmm.
we've looked a bit flat over the last 2 or 3
No, I
games.
think so. I think, and this is, I'm not having a dig at us here, I think, but I think we're starting to see maybe these one half performances creeping in, where one half where we are really, really good, and then other half, we're pretty poor. But I'm hoping now, because there's no really there's no an international break to
There's
match,
no an international break to the Scottish Cup quarter-finals.
so
Well,
you
that
can
could be a
we can hope
long,
we
could be a
can
long
hopefully motor
run.
on, because I think that will suit us as a club now, because we can get everybody, players like Engels can really, as I said earlier on, can really start getting himself into the squad. Players, you know, what I'm trying to say is we can kind of more settle in. Alistair, as for the team selection, would you change anything up from Wednesday night?
I'd make 4 changes.
And it would be,
Um, Skills for CCV,
aye,
just because I think we need to manage CCV
aye.
and
Mm.
get them ready for Wednesday night and Zagreb and
Zagreb's
those
not for
top
another two
times.
weeks. We've got
Yeah,
Aberdeen next Wednesday
but
night.
I'm saying I think because we've got Aberdeen Wednesday night,
Aye.
I I think you need to manage these games
Eh,
and Skills I think deserves a game. That's self-explanatory. Via would be another one I'd bring on as we discussed on the podcast. So I'm not going. That's self-explanatory. And I'd play Bernardo, and I'd play Ida. They'd be my
um, for
four.
me, I'd go 4 changes, but mine's slightly different. Scales, I agree with. I think we need to kind of rotate that a bit, just for the reasons you said. Value, yet again, self-explanatory. I think we need to see a lot more, not from him performance-wise, but more starts, and because I don't think he's getting anywhere near enough when he's coming off the bench. He's contributing a lot, so I think we deserve to see a start. This might be risky, but I'm going to completely change up the midfield personally for me.
Who
Um,
would you change the three of them?
no, I'd keep McGregor in there, because at the end of these, Callum McGregor. But I'd give McCowan a start, and I would give Bernardo a start. Just because I think, Hatate looked a bit leggy, a bit off it. Engels, we've discussed kind of why. But I think McCowan, you know, he's a brilliant player to have coming into the squad. He's no one, like, I spoke to this about Nathan, going out the ground all night when we spoke about depth, and I says we need to bring wingers on, because look at the midfield when if we see changes to midfield, Bernardo and McCowan come in, I'm not panicking. I'm like, right, that's
Yeah,
fine,
well,
because
you change the winner here and
I
you're
know
set.
Aye, I know McCowan will come in and he'll do a job, and I know Bernardo. That's Bernardo. McCowan has showed that as well, that he can come in and do a job. But for the wingers, and this is why I think we need to be strengthened in January. There's been talk. obviously looking to strengthen the wing position. But I think we
Well, I'd
do.
be very shocked if we never, because let's be honest, one left winger's going to go, and
Aye,
we all know who that is. So
because if and that's the difference. If I see Lewis Palmer starting, I'm thinking, oh,
oh
and
no,
then
really.
aye. But and that's no disrespect to Lewis, and I do feel sorry for Lewis Palmer, but I just don't think it's going to happen at Celtic. But for me, I'd still keep the same front three. I could maybe see that because I'm no big fan of making five. I kind of cap it at four.
That's how I said before. If I
Aye,
was
so
really honest, Josh, I would want it to be 5, but did Rodgers not come out and say he was going to cap it a certain amount of changes after the
aye,
Celtic game? He
I
said
think
that would never happen again.
I think there was a few because I think there's a point you can make too many changes. You can just completely disrupt everything. But I would go. I would change the two midfielders, Tati and Engels. And at least you've got them. I had Tati to bring off if we did need. We did need them to come on, and you obviously get Engels there. But I think we'd be fine with Bernardo and McCowan in there, and then the front three would just be the same of Kuhn, Kyogo, and Maida.
Yeah. Well, I think I'll. Do you know something? I'm actually going to break my own rule here and go 5 changes and put my gown in and
Oh
and
my
drop
god,
my
I've actually, I've actually changed one of Alistair's decisions. This big moment, this.
well, just because I think he'll want Hatate for Pataudry. He will.
Aye,
Hatate ripped him apart the last time, so he'll kind of want that. So I think he'll get. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but McGowan can't play in the League Cup, so McGowan will need a game.
aye, I know that's a good point as well. Moving on to the last bit, Alistair, score predictions. What we're saying?
I'm gonna go mad here, so don't laugh. 6-0.
6-0. You going ahead? I'll go 4. Um, I think as you said, you want a performance with goals. Obviously, first and foremost, it's about the 3 points. But for me, I'll go 4. You're going 6. So we'll see. But hopefully, it's a win because that's all we need at these stages. Just be these
And
winnable.
an early goal, please.
Nah,
That would be nice. That
and
really would be nice.
oh no, they just to settle everything. So you'll not go at 60 minutes. We've still not scored here, and
Oh,
then
remember CCB's debut being like that
aye,
against Ross County?
aye.
They scored
Um,
that deflected shot.
Aye, but aye. Hopefully, after the game, we'll talk about a win. We'll be back after the game for a post-match reaction. Till then, speak to you later, and hail hail.
Wonderful.